What's up? I'm here today to talk about the MS thing. I said I was going to do some discussions on MS, and today's the day. So, as you may have gathered from the title, today's topic is infusions and what is that? What does it mean? How do I do it? Etc. Here I sit, being about a week out from one, and I am shockingly still alive. So the first tip I think is just don't be anxious. There's no reason for it. It's just the same as getting a ringer at the hospital. Like if you were dehydrated or whatever the case was, and they just went and put the little saline bag on you. It's exactly like that. It's just had some medication mixed in with the salt water, if you will. Second thing that I know caused some confusion was what is an infusion, if it's the same as an IV, and it is, but it isn't. So to say the term intravenous does not give you any descriptor of the dosing of that medicine and over what period of time. So for example, if you were to take a steroid shot like at the hospital, that would be an intravenous administration of the medication because they're putting it inside your vein. How do we say the difference between just getting a shot in a vein versus being there for quite some time and having it infused into your body sort of slowly? And that is the difference. That's why it's called an infusion and not just an IV, like an IV bag, because that carries kind of a meaning that it's going to be administered pretty quickly, and an infusion is not. I know for my first one, I was there from, I want to say 9:30 to 3:30 or something like that. So it was most of a day. My second one, kind of the same, a little bit shorter. And they say that the next one's going to be just a single visit and the same amount of medication just over the course of a day. So right now it's taken, most of a day, most of the chunk of a day to get this thing done. That being said, I'm aware of people that go to work in the morning, get some stuff knocked out, go get their infusion, go back to work, keep getting stuff knocked out. That's fantastic. I feel happy for you. You should do that. In my experience, I'm kind of wiped out at the end of the day, so I don't think I'll be doing that. Next thing is, like I said a minute ago, they give you it in two doses initially, 2 weeks apart, and then they want you to come in later on 5-6 months later for a follow-up, and then it's going to be on a 5 to 6 month schedule, whatever your neurologist prescribes. While you're at the center, or as you're coming home from the center, they're gonna put the little dot of gauze and then the little sticky wrap stuff, vet wrap I think it's called, because they use it for cats, maybe horses, I'm not sure. I think I heard it called vet. Anyway, the point is, if you didn't already know, take that stuff off your arm. I thought I had to leave it on there for like the rest of the day, and then I took it off, and then my skin was all irritated, and then I told the nurse next time around, I said, hey, don't use that stuff, and then she said, hey, take it off about 10 minutes after you leave here. So hey, problem solved. You're also going to be getting Benadryl and steroids. The Benadryl to prevent a reaction to the medicine of any kind, and then the steroids to also prevent a reaction. Look, I did not go to doctor college, but they're going to give you Benadryl and steroids and quite a lot of it. Some people report that they just fall over and fall asleep and whatnot. I know for me, I put on a Forged in Fire marathon or two and then just sat there and was bored for a couple hours. If you have the opportunity, try to get a private room if you can, because it's just way, way better than sitting in the chairs, next to people. It's nice not to have people popping in and out. Speaking of what kind of preparations to make for this deal, I'm a big fan of the Werthers for when they put the steroids in, because you do get like a really weird flavor, right? A thing that you need to know, especially if you are a nicotine addict, a dirty degenerate like myself, do not vape in the room, not even as a sneak it in kind of thing. The nurses really don't like it when you vape in there, and also it fucks up your vitals, so don't. But I'm happy to tell you, a couple weeks out from the infusion, it seems to have gone fine. I do notice that little, scrapes and cuts, that I might get out in the shop or something are taking a little bit longer to heal up, heal up than they usually would. So that's just something I've noticed with me You may or may not have that reaction. All that having been said, the infusion itself was a not that bad experience. I know I was very anxious about it at first, and I couldn't for the life of me right now today remember why I was nervous, but here I sit. And nothing was wrong with it. So if you are still doing or if not still doing, if you are doing the injections, the auto injections, subcutaneous type of thing, like the glutaramer acetate, what was that called? Copaxone. If you're doing one of those, this isn't for that. That's going to be a different thing. And clearly, if you're taking pills, this has nothing to do with you unless you are trying to get onto a DMT that features infusion. If you've got MS and we're having this discussion, you've been to get an MRI and they've put the gallium, the contrast agent, you know, you've got that thing stuck in your arm and you're sitting there in an MRI. It's like that, but without all the crazy noises. I don't really know what I'm getting at. I guess what I'm getting at is infusions are just not as big of a deal as they might seem right now in this moment. I get that. There's a lot going on, maybe a lot of stuff that's getting thrown at you left and right. But if you are looking at doing infusions to start a DMT, that's what it's about. So be safe out there, take care of yourself, make sure you're hydrating and or exercising or whatever it is you do to be able to make it through the day, because this sucks. Anyway, good luck out there.